Welcome again to Lakeshore Focus, a weekly show highlighting the key issues, important events, and interesting people in our region. I'm Keith Kirkpatrick. Although we have made great strides during the past 20 years, we still need a consistent and deliberate effort to improve and keep our cities clean. There are those who are leading the efforts to teach us how to incorporate sustainable activities and practices into our everyday lives. Two of those champions are a husband and wife team. Lorrie Lisek, Executive Director with the Wisconsin Clean Cities, and we'll give you another title here in a minute, Lorrie, and Carl Lisek, who is the Executive Director for the South Shore Clean Cities right here in our region. So thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having us, Keith.
You know, and just a moment ago, I heard Lorrie say you guys have been married 29 years. You know,
it's been a long time. We've been married all of our lives.
Yeah, and I heard you say, and I'm barely over 30. Okay, I bet our viewers will respond to that and go, that guy looked like he was a little older than 30. So I really am glad to have both of you here. We've been trying to schedule this for a long time, I know, because you guys are very busy and traveling a lot. So I'm glad to have you on here. I said we were going to give you another title. Explain to me, Lorrie, a little bit, because you guys really are Legacy Environmental Services?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
And how does that work? You have a contract to do what?
Yes, Legacy Environmental Services is our company, our corporation, and we are contracted with the Wisconsin Clean Cities and with South Shore Clean Cities to act as the executive leadership for those organizations.
Okay. And South Shore Clean Cities covers what area?
We cover the upper northern part of the state of Indiana, so the upper 20 counties of Indiana. Oh. So we work throughout northwest Indiana, obviously going east towards Angola, towards Ohio and Michigan.
Okay, so you cover the whole north end. And in Wisconsin, you cover what?
In Wisconsin right now, we're designated to the southeast area, but we are putting in an application with the U.S. Department of Energy to become a statewide coalition.
Oh, wow. You guys just haven't managed to capture Chicago yet? But you're surrounding them.
We're surrounding them, yes.
Okay,
right.
That's the next takeover?
No.
Yeah, there might be viewers over there watching. Now, do they have a Clean Cities program in Chicago?
Yes, they do. Samantha
Okay.
Bingham is the coordinator of the Chicago area Clean Cities, and we do work closely with her. We have what we call our Lake Michigan Consortium. So we do work closely with the three coalitions in putting events together and partnering on projects.
Okay. Now, explain to me a little bit, or to our viewers even, what is this Clean Cities mean? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, the Clean Cities program originated back in 1992 through the Clean Air Act, and the whole purpose of the Clean Cities program is to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil. So we are a fuel-neutral organization that's sponsored by the U.S. Department of Energy to promote all alternative fuels. So we're a fuel-neutral organization, and it's our goal to reduce dependence on foreign oil and work on diesel emission reduction types of activities.
What's fuel-neutral mean?
Fuel-neutral would be anything that's going to reduce America's dependence on foreign oil is something that the Department of Energy would be interested in.
Sounds like you don't take a position on fuel or something by being fuel neutral.
Well, we're advocates for all the alternative fuels, so things, it's cleaner fuels as we've gotten into different types of ethanol branding with our fuels containing up to 10% ethanol here in Indiana and throughout the country. So that that's something that that's helped our environment. It's helped with air quality here in Northwest Indiana.
And I'm going to come back to Clean Cities here in a minute, but I want to find out a little bit more about what you two just kind of, what's your passion here for being involved in this? Because it's more than just the Clean Cities program. It's more than just transportation and fuel. You guys seem to want to change the world. Is this true?
It's true.
Is this true, Lorrie?
Well, we started our company 8 years ago. And the reason we called it Legacy is because we have 2 sons and we wanted to leave a legacy. And we had always known that we wanted to be entrepreneurs and wanted to do some type of business, but weren't quite sure what we wanted to do. And we got involved with the Clean Cities Coalition through other companies that we were associated with. And then when their coordinator stepped down, they asked us if we would be interested in maybe stepping into that role. And we had just started our company. We knew we wanted to kind of focus on cleanups, not focus on cleanups, but to prevent cleanups from happening.
Okay.
Carl had been in the environmental industry for many years prior to that, and so we wanted to be able to work with organizations to help them to be clean so that they wouldn't have to do the cleanups that were necessary.
I
And
thought you
that's
told me
kinda how
that the
we got
reason you didn't want
started.
to do cleanups was because Carl wasn't very good at cleaning up. Wasn't that what it was?
Well,
No?
you know, Keith, we like to call ourselves ecopreneurs, and so anything that
That's
deals with you know, greening of the environment, we're definitely interested in. And we've had, you know, different organizations, communities that we've been working with since we've developed our company. And my background, as Lorrie said, was in environmental cleanups, and quite honestly, at the time, we
So
were
you
doing,
were able to clean up.
we were doing a lot of super fun cleanups throughout the United States, and it was just at that point of our career that we really wanted to do something, again, as Lorrie said, to create a legacy for future generations. And we just found this to be somewhat of, we like to say we were kind of green before green was cool, and when we started our company, and now with, you know, the variety of things that have happened in, you know, the United States, we just feel like you know, we're very blessed to have this opportunity to help create a legacy for future generations.
That's pretty neat, and you've got a number of little marketing slogans I like that you use. So this is good. Well, how did you get into this, Lorrie? Then, I mean, if this was Carl's profession.
Well, I had a sales, marketing, and accounting background, and always had an entrepreneur type business of myself, for myself on the side, and was always interested in that. And we just knew that we wanted to start some kind of a business. So with his background, and then with my marketing and my accounting background, we were able to mesh our two talents and came up with our company.
I love talking to entrepreneurs anyway, because it's always interesting. I should have you show us your scars or something, you know, because I know all entrepreneurs have those. Well, tell me then, what other kinds of things that you've done besides the clean cities? You said, hey, we've always tried to promote green things. And I noticed on your website you talked about, you know, we have innovation, we're innovative. What's something that you've done that's innovative?
Well, I think for last year, and this is something that we just did yesterday, actually, we looked at some of our accomplishments that we've achieved for 2011, and we've been associated with over $14 million worth of grants just for 2011. And so, and that means we've written, we've managed, we've applied, we've worked, and so we've applied for these grants, and these grants have been awarded to our clients.
Well, that sounds effective. I'm not sure that's innovative. It just sounds like you're good at writing the grants.
We are, but I think from an innovation perspective, that the innovation has been for alternative fuels. It's been for green energy. It's been, you know, things like with wind and solar and sustainability types of activities, green buildings, leadership on, you know, trying to implement different types of new technologies as we. As the building industry starts to grow, we would love to see more of our schools, more of our buildings be LEED certified and things like that. So again, anything that's related to green, we've applied for grants, and we've been associated with helping our clients develop those entities.
Do you find this area receptive to the kind of efforts that you guys are making, or is it a struggle?
I think people are receptive to it. I think it's an education process. I think they just don't know what's available and what's out there, and that's kind of what our company can bring to the table, is we are innovative in our thinking of how things can be done. So if there's grants out there for a particular project, we might think of an innovative way that grant could be applied to this particular project. So I think we do that through the education process, and then they become more receptive, and then as we're successful, then they want to know, okay, now what can we do, and what can the next project be? And then they become more receptive as we're more successful in working with them.
Well, education is one part of it, but I also know you can have a really receptive student and you can have a reluctant student. So is this region, or even northern Indiana, is it a willing student, an eager student, or are you
I think you know, we've had a lot of accomplishments, and I think we are changing. Our area is definitely changing, and I think you know, we're very proud of some of the things that have actually occurred. But it has taken time, but it's changed. And again, I think with the newness of a lot of these new technologies, you know, we're somewhat reluctant as human beings of, you know, who do we believe, and we want to make sure that these are good business decisions that we recommend for our clients and the people that we work with. The return on investment has to be there, and so.
Well, let me ask you this. Stack Indiana up, northern Indiana up against what you see in Wisconsin. You're kind of in the Milwaukee area, that larger area, or against what you hear is going on around Chicago. Are we equal to them in terms of what we're trying to do? Are we ahead? Are we behind?
I think we're pretty much on an equal playing field. There's a lot of funding that's been coming to the area. So Wisconsin was awarded a $15 million DOE grant. The city of Chicago was awarded a DOE grant, and the state of Indiana was also awarded a DOE grant. So that funding has made the projects easier to implement. Now, if you want to stack us up against what's happening on the East Coast and the West Coast, then probably we are a little bit slower to change. But I do see the change happening, and I do believe that through Clean Cities, there's 87 coalitions across the United States. So there's projects going on all across the United States, and a lot of those projects that we're doing now are very innovative. So I always said, we would always call out to other coordinators to see what was going on, to see how they were completing those projects. But I think we're going to be the area where people are going to be calling because the projects that are happening are innovative and are going to be changing and setting the pace for things. So I'm very excited about that.
So Clean Cities is mostly about transportation issues. It's about the use of the automobile and about using buses and other kinds of transportation.
Anything that runs on a fossil fuel vehicle
Okay.
would be fair game. So generators, anything on-road, off-road types of equipment, airplanes, buses, ships.
What is the is there a number that we use to affix to fossil fuels contributing to our environmental problems? Is that half of what it is? Is it 80%? Is it 20%?
Well, from a transportation aspect, I think, and it's been reported in the news already that our area is actually out of the non-attainment area. We're in the maintenance area, and so our air quality has definitely improved here in the last couple of years. Fortunately and unfortunately, the EPA is going to start monitoring stricter guidelines, and so areas of Lake, Porter, and potentially Jasper County will be areas of non-attainment moving forward later this year. But we definitely see, our areas are getting greener and cleaner.
But again, just maybe even as a nation, I mean, our use of fossil fuels contributes what to our pollution problem?
Well, I think
huge.
Well, I think pretty much on some of the reports that have been written, most of the transportation aspects contribute at least 50% of air pollution. And so a lot of times here in our area, people think that a lot of the air pollution is caused by industry, while it's really caused by our transportation initiatives.
Now, you guys drive an electric car, right?
That's correct.
Do you share one, or you have both? Each have an electric car. What's the deal?
We share one, and then we take turns actually driving it. We actually drove it to the studio today.
So the other one walks, or?
No, we can both fit in
We can
it.
both. Come on, Keith.
Oh, that's right. You work together,
Yes.
so you
Yes,
ride.
we do.
You ride together. Okay, I get that part. So if I hear people say, "Hey, I have an electric car," I'm thinking, okay, you still got to plug the electric car in. You're still using energy to charge the car. Is it that much more efficient than a hybrid?
Well, the electric car, again, being an advocate for all the alternative fuels, what we see is based on our electric rates here locally, it's about anywhere from 9 to 12 cents a kilowatt hour. And so for us to charge that car, it costs us probably less than $2 to charge our vehicle. And so we can go approximately 75 to 100 miles on that charge. And so, if you equate that to, the cost of fossil fuel and insurance and things like that, we've cut our carbon footprint, but then we've also, starting to save money. And, what we like to say also, Keith, is that electric cars are not for everybody. We feel that, the fossil fuel vehicles, diesel and gasoline, will be here. We see improvements with the CAFE standards for EPA, with the mileage improvements. So, as Americans, we want choice, and we'll continue to have those choices, but we just want to be the advocates for promoting these